come into this country and you get a house near border. And I know people say they don't, but they do.
Glasgow is Britain's asylum seeker capital.
They're not allowed to claim benefits. They're not stealing your jobs.
But as numbers rise,
I passed many countries before I came here. I came by boat.
and services are under strain.
Is there a kind of anti-immigration part of it?
I don't want them here.
Where are they going to live?
What's your evidence for that?
I don't have any evidence.
Are attitudes here changing?
The slogan for a city that carries the weight of Britain's asylum system. More people housed here in Glasgow than anywhere else. But for a place celebrated for its welcome, the strain is showing.
What is it you're angry about?
For most, the Scottish saltire is a symbol of compassion in a nation long seen as left-leaning.
Too many people coming in.
For others, a protest, a way to voice disquiet.
I'm proud to be Scottish. Know what I mean? And
Is there a kind of anti-immigration part of it?
I don't want them here.
Do you think that some people will think what you're saying is racist?
Probably, aye.
Do you care?
No,
Are you racist?
no.
It's actually went out of control. There are far too many coming in.
Up the road in a wealthy suburb, this 84-year-old woman asked us not to show her face.
It looks like they're going to overspill us. We'll be the underdogs.
Who's they?
All the ones that's coming in, especially Muslims.
Right. Do you think that's racist?
No, it's just truth. Where they're a minority, they will be majority in future years.
What's your evidence for that?
I don't have any evidence.
There's too many immigrants in this area.
Mum Audrey blames her struggles on
They're
immigration
not spread
too.
out. They're not. I've got an older son who lives with me. Can't get a house, but yet you come into this country and you get a house near border. And I know people say they don't, but they do. There's more black in every other colour than there is white. That sounds terrible, doesn't it?
I suppose the opposing view to that is, look, it's a multicultural society, things are very different than they were years ago, and many people would welcome that.
But we don't have the infrastructure for it.
Unlike in the rest of Britain, immigration traditionally hasn't been a big topic on the minds of Scottish voters. In fact, very many people have seen immigration as a positive thing, given the tourism industry here relies so heavily on people coming to work. And for the majority of Scots, the cost of living and healthcare remain the priority. However, recent polling has suggested a rise in concern around the topic of immigration. Couple in to the fact Nigel Farage and Reform seem to be on the rise north of the border, and it begins to feel like immigration is now playing a bigger part in the national conversation than it has done for very many years. What is the talk in the office?
The usual sort of topics of conversation, like at any office workplace, would be, Love Island, what's on TV, what are folk watching. But certainly in the past 6 months, there's been a lot of chat about immigration. People move away. We need people who are going to move in as well. And, even sort of 30 plus years ago, I went to a fairly diverse school, and I think the more kids are exposed to folk from different cultures, the better.
You're pro-immigration?
I am pro-immigration.
And for lawyers, misinformation is hijacking the debate.
They're not allowed to work. They're not allowed to claim benefits. They're not stealing your jobs. They're not taking our benefits. If they're in a hotel, which they don't want to be in, they're on £9 a week. If they're in the community, they're on £6 a day. It's simply not true, that narrative that's put out. The issue's been used as a scapegoat by various political actors. It's predicated on immigration or higher levels of immigration being the reason why standard of living is dropping, the reason why public services are suffering, which is simply not the case.
Glasgow's roots in this stretch back 25 years. The councils signed up to welcome asylum seekers in return for UK government funding, a system known as Dispersal.
This was introduced to move large numbers of people from the southeast of England and from London area to different cities across the UK. I think there were maybe 7 dispersal sites. Glasgow is the only one in Scotland, was because I think it had at the time a large estate of available housing, and this would be high-rise housing. Many of those high-rise flats have now been demolished as part of a bigger urban regeneration programme. And what that does is it means that we still have housing issues for people. Where are they going to live?
And it's housing that is now at the centre of this crisis. When asylum seekers are allowed to permanently stay, councils take responsibility. Glasgow says that is now its #1 single cost, with leaders demanding a temporary pause to catch up with demand. The homelessness laws here in Scotland say councils must house someone without a home, and that includes refugees who've been given the right to stay. It's far more generous than in England, where they usually only have to house someone with a priority need, and that, it's claimed, is drawing people to communities like this one and adding to an already pressured environment.
Hello! Rule Britannia! Get it right, rub you!
Less than 30 miles away in Falkirk, this hotel has become the centre of protest. Fury from some who seized on the rape of a teenage girl by a man living here who'd entered the UK illegally.
I passed many countries before I came here, so I was in Europe before here, but I came by boat last year.
It's left others, like this man from Iraq, being tarred with the same brush.
I'm scared. I'm not coming in the day to the hotel.
Do you understand why some people in this country are angry about the situation?
There is the good people and bad people.
He reveals he was living in Europe for a decade before coming across the channel.
About 10 years I've been in Europe. Why the UK? Because I couldn't stay anymore in Europe.
Why not?
Because they deporting people to their country. I've been living in Germany for a long time.
The criticism from some is that people arriving into this country on small boats like yourself are all men in their 20s and 30s, and there are very few women and children.
You want to come here, it's not easy for family. You have to cross the water. That's why they don't bring the family.
As tensions rise here, a brick was thrown, smashing a window in the middle of the night in what is being called an act of intimidation. Police are investigating, and Scotland's First Minister has branded it absolutely despicable. It is the first physical sign that things here are escalating.
So many of us turned up to the first protest at the Cladden a few weeks ago, and we were expecting a very lively protest, but we were shocked at the level of abuse and racism being thrown out there. We wanted to create a group that was for residents of Falkirk to reject that narrative that asylum seekers are making this an unsafe place to live.
What is important is we are all human beings. So you may have your own reasons for doing what you are doing, but I think let's just live peacefully.
And this man from West Africa is also waiting to see if he can stay in the UK.
You cannot put everybody in one category, classifying everybody as racist and stuff like that. What I know is people have valid reasons. That's it. But what is important is not everybody in the hotel is bad. That's it. People, some of them, if you listen to what they went through, you will sympathize with them.
The Home Office says it's easing the pressure, shifting people out of these hotels and processing claims faster. But as the costs mount and tempers for some rise, the politics of welcome are being tested like never before.